All right.
It's rolling.
What's going on?
Fuck, we haven't been on here for a while.
Yeah, I know.
What's up, everyone? How have you been? That's good.
Oh, are you talking to the audience? It's like, you know how
While
I've
looking
been.
at you.
We literally just had a conversation.
We've just done
And
a
we talk
90-minute podcast already.
every day. Almost every day. Actually avoid each other sometimes. We talk that much.
Often, yes.
Yeah.
Yep. I would like to go play golf with Jason, but we'll talk about work.
Yeah.
So we won't go play
Not
golf
going.
today.
I don't want to hang out with Ben because I don't want to talk about work. What a relationship.
Yeah. Strong.
Yeah.
Mutually respectful.
I think so. Yeah.
It's understood.
Yep.
I actually was on a call yesterday with Jess, and I was like, okay, Jason's freaking out about these dates, so I need to go calm him down. And she goes, yep, you've just calmed down Jason number 2, now you need to go calm down Jason number 1. I was like, yes, you are both very similar. You both just need to be told it's going to be okay sometimes, and we're fine.
I'm just notorious for fucking saying yes and then going, oh, fuck.
Yeah,
I've got this date.
Yeah.
How many times has that happened?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, it should be fine. Just do it. And
Yeah.
then it's like, are you fucking serious?
Yeah.
Or like, yeah.
That was what I got from my wife.
Yeah.
She was like, just stared at me, and I was like, what? She's
What are you
like,
talking about?
you're not going to be home for our first wedding anniversary? I was like, yes, I am. I will move that date.
Yeah. It's
I
hilarious.
get stabbed.
Yep.
Yeah. She actually came in later and was like, it's fine, you can go. Like, it's all right. We'll move
No,
it.
it's
okay.
yeah. That's there's certain times it's like,
Yeah.
especially when you have a little bit of flexibility over the date.
Yeah. And I feel like first one, I am excused for not recognizing the date.
You sure? I remember. Yeah.
That didn't help me, Jace.
Sorry, bro. It's like birthday, wedding anniversary. I feel like they're just really easy dates to get.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I have our like normal anniversary because it's easy because it's September
Yeah.
11. But
I'm just really good with numbers.
yeah, I suck at it.
Yeah, like remembering numbers. So I'm just like, I know Steph's mobile number.
When's my birthday, Jason?
I know just Steph's. So I know all her
You're
all
second?
her stuff. Yeah, second. Yeah, but mine's easy because it's just like the second day of the year.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's not even. Yeah, once you go after the first month, I'm like, I don't know your birthday.
Yeah.
If
it's too far from a thing.
hopefully Facebook tells me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I rely on Facebook for birthdays.
Yeah, and then I don't use Facebook anymore. So no
Yeah.
one gets birthday messages from me.
Nah.
If your friends don't put things
Yeah.
on Instagram that you share that it's your birthday, you're
Yeah.
not hearing from me.
Yep.
Soz. Doesn't mean I don't love you.
Asshole. I'll go out of my way to wish you guys a happy birthday. Don't worry.
Yeah, cool. Cool. So we're back to talk about coaching.
Yeah.
What we do.
What we
do.
what we do. What we love to do.
Yeah, because not
Yeah.
everyone knows.
Yeah, it's
So
true.
I feel like we should tell them. Is that a moth? Yep. Sup. We have dogs, moths.
Yeah. It's not really painting the right picture for the ear people here. I mean, is that a moth?
Where
Like,
the fuck are
you guys?
they?
Are you guys podcasting in a garage? Like,
Hopefully it sounds better than that.
yeah, true.
Yeah, if it's pretty hot though, it feels like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It's warming up.
I'm starting to sweat.
So coaching
Yep.
online, you've probably landed on this episode either because you're just a fan and you're subscribed, or someone said, "Hey, go listen to this before you come and talk to me," so you have a bit of an idea of what we do. Because it's hard, I guess, in a consult to express everything, and we like to make our consults about the person that's sitting in front of us, but an insight into what we do. And this is across all of our coaches. This is our I guess, approach, our method across the board. Starting from the beginning, I guess, is who we work with.
Yeah.
And when we go with like who we work with, it's less of a people who are 24 years old, and it's like it's not that.
Yeah.
And it's not about like they drive this car or make this much money. It's actually more about what problems that they face.
Yeah.
When it comes to training. So more often than not, we talk about when we set these things up, it's like, what's the biggest issue that the people we work with face, and what a problem we're the best at solving.
Yeah.
And we've landed on helping people who are frustrated with not getting results.
Yeah.
And it sounds pretty like
Straightforward.
it's
generic.
like a throwaway line. Like, people who are frustrated with results. Everyone's
So,
frustrated
lots
with
of
results.
people. Yeah.
But it's like, it means you're probably already showing up,
yeah.
or you have shown up in the past, and for whatever reason, it hasn't worked out.
Yeah.
and you just haven't seen the outcomes that you would want.
Yeah.
So I guess our job is to take that next step. Like a lot of people that work with us have either had coaches before, they've done like PDF programming before, they've worked with a PT, they've trained for an extended period of time. I know like my client base at this point's like 60% other PTs.
Yeah.
But they've been in a position where they've tried to execute all these things at some point, either right now or in the past, and they're returning, but they just haven't really been able to tick the box in terms of an outcome.
Probably want something a little more personalized. Probably, there's that, they've tried that generic kind of, general training kind of thing, and it's like either they've gotten results up to a point and plateaued, or they haven't gotten results for a very long time.
Yeah.
And now they're like, I know I need something else, but I don't know what.
Yeah.
So it's time to take that next step into something a little more specific to them.
Yeah. The only other one that I'd have on the fringe of that is just people that like probably know what to do, but they need that accountability element to just be like, you know what? I don't want to think about this. I don't want to think about writing my program.
Outsource decision making.
Yeah.
It's a very beneficial thing to do.
Yeah.
It's like rid yourself of that weight to deal with all the other stuff that you deal with.
Yeah. And then have someone that you've got to report to on a weekly basis.
Yeah, and a less emotional decision maker than yourself.
Yeah.
Who's always going to second guess what's going on and you make rash decisions and stuff. It's just like having that logical, objective, in somewhat slightly emotional person go, hey, I think we should do this. Yeah. And you go, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, even, and I know for myself, like I'm coaching myself at the moment, but majority of the time I've had a coach, and it's usually because I'll make dumb decisions.
Yeah.
Because I'll like learn something new, or I'll be excited about something, or like it's been a week and nothing's happened. And yes, we think like that too.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like, oh, maybe I should change something. And it's like you go to your coach and you're like, fuck, I want to do this. I want to get shredded. I want to just like, let's do an extreme cut.
Dump my calories.
Yeah. And then the coach is like, now, last week you wanted to get really strong. Do you think it's a good idea bombing your calories?
If you can't stick to 2,800 calories, how are you going to stick to
1,800
or something? It's like, have a think about that. Oh, fuck, okay.
Okay, I'm being dumb. Thank you.
Yeah.
Even like, I think one of the most common ones I get with my clients is like, I'm not getting anywhere. I don't feel like anything's happening. It's like, this isn't working. And then you like pull up the data and you're like, you're losing half a centimeter a week off your waist. You're losing
getting
half
stronger
a kilo a week. Your performance is going up every week. Your volume's gone up over the last 4 programs.
Yeah.
We're doing pretty good. And they're like, oh yeah, thanks. I was just having a moment.
Yeah.
So I think that's really common as well. So how do we solve those problems? So we have what we call the master
method.
It's fancy.
It sounds pretty good.
It's fancy. We put a lot of work. The time that we spent sitting down trying to create an acronym that was, is that the right word?
Acronym, yeah.
Nailed it.
There
you go.
An acronym that was a word.
That was worth the attention.
It was worth the hours on thesaurus.com. What's up, guys? Welcome to the STCfit Podcast, where we talk about all things nutrition, training, and how to live your best life. If you want some more information about coaching, our free resources, and other fitness-related content, be sure to check us out on our website at www.stcfit.com. All right, let's get to the episode.
So, M for mentality. Yep. I'd like to put it on the table that we are not the mindset coach personal trainer.
No.
However, the right mentality is very important to getting the right outcomes.
Yeah.
So being able to work with a client and improve their mentality is really, really important.
Yeah.
So for yourself and your clients, what are like the main things you want to tick off around in that area and just be like, I need people to think this way? I don't know if that sounds like
I know what you mean.
A bit cultish, but it's like I need them to have a certain mentality to be successful. Or what mentality do you see that is really successful in clients and you're trying to move people from X to Y?
I think obtaining a degree of discipline, and that comes from knowing exactly what you need to do.
Yeah.
And then when if you outline what someone needs to do based off what they want to achieve, and you outline or you achieve something or want to achieve something because you can see it falls into the bigger picture of like why that person finds those things important.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it starts with values or goals or values, because I feel like sometimes it's a chicken or the egg kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like your goals probably have an underlying meaning to them, so let's find out what that is. Or it's like if you value these things, let's find goals for them.
It suits that. Yeah.
Yeah, which is the same. And then it's like, cool, all right, to achieve these outcomes, excuse me, what needs to be done every day?
Yeah.
Let's just write down a list of things that need to be done. So if we do this, and this, and you show up on every single time you start your week, that is the goal.
Yeah.
The checklist is to do these things. We're in the best position. It's like it takes out the fluff, it takes out everything.
Yep.
And then it's like, people talk about motivation and they talk about how to find discipline and stuff. It's like realistically, you'll have discipline in absence of motivation because you know why you're showing up.
Yeah.
And you know what all these little things add up to the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the motivation, you'll still do it. And when you have, I already said that, but if you do have the motivation, you'll just capitalize on it.
Yeah.
It just makes all of those things like even better.
Yeah.
Because you've got a heightened sense of emotions to attack those tasks.
Yeah. So the phrase I would use to encapsulate all of that is like creating intrinsic motivation.
Yeah.
So if you know your values, know your goals, and you know how those goals are going to express your values, then you have a greater reason to go to the gym than fat loss or strength or a powerlifting total.
Yeah.
Like you have to have a bigger reason. So I think I was saying to you last week, like going through a bit of a transition, coming back, lost 15 kilos. I'm running and playing golf, only lifting weights 3 times a week, and I've entered the powerlifting competition again. And it's like, what if I'm just shit?
Yeah.
What if my numbers suck? What if all my clients and all of these trainers and my social media people, I don't want to say fans, it's followers, see it and they're like, oh, fuck, that was pathetic. And I just had to like go back to why did I decide to do it?
Yeah.
And it's because I like a framework. I like a challenge.
I
find it fun figuring shit out. And that was the one that kind of triggered for me. Like we've talked a lot about outside life adding more fun in as well. And I was like, powerlifting used to just be fun. The reason you took a year and a half off is because the last prep wasn't.
Yeah.
Because you put expectations on yourself and allowed what other people might think to make it a thing. So.
And the circumstances sucked as well.
Well, yeah, it didn't help. Yeah. Training 3 feet from where you sleep and do all of your socializing in lockdown's not ideal. But yeah, it was like, okay, so I need to focus on why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
It's like go into the gym and have a fucking good time. Didn't PB? Who cares?
Yeah.
Like just go have fun, do the comp, meet some people.
Yeah.
Like one of my clients is doing it. Like it's going to be, we'll stay away for the weekend. Like it's going to be a fun experience.
Yep.
Rather than it being like, if you don't qualify for nationals, you're a failure.
Yeah.
Like, fuck that.
Yeah.
Like I'm not in that space. So that's where it becomes really important to have an internal motivator that's greater than like the total you're going to hit or the body fat percentage or the photo shoot date or whatever it is that you're working towards. Yeah.
And I think after that, it's just like, trying to reinforce the belief that, most clients are capable of more than what they think they are.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, that ability to own up and own your shit. And it's like, I just didn't show up this week, for whatever reason. And it's fine. You're not in trouble. No one's going to tell you off. It's like you just, we have this plan.
Yeah.
And you have these tasks and habits that we want to reinforce and do. Let's just find a way now to get back to that.
Yeah. And if the intrinsic motivation is about what you get out of training, not the outcome of training, then that becomes a lot easier.
Yeah.
So when you have a bad week, it's like, oh, that felt yucky. Because it didn't actually sit well with the standards I hold for myself.
Yeah.
Rather than it being like, oh, I failed at the goal.
Yeah.
Throw everything in the bin. It's just like, I didn't behave in the way that I would like to behave.
Yeah.
Didn't be the person I would like to be without getting too woo-woo within that. But if I wasn't that person, I didn't feel great at the end of the week. So next week, I just need to be better.
Yeah. And then I think like, you mentioned before, like what are some of the things that you see in like the most successful people that you work with? I think it's like the embracement of change. It's like the people that are, achieve the physiques or the feats of strength or performance that I've worked with in the past. It's like they know that what they're doing right now isn't working. So doing the same thing that we've always done isn't going to get a different outcome.
Yep.
So it's about, going into that unknown a little bit and trying some things that are different, which is a necessary thing to happen to achieve new things, and embracing that and just continuing to move forward.
Yeah.
I think they're the main key areas that, are going to lead to successful outcomes in all of the other things that we're going to talk about.
Yeah. And if you are on the way to a consult, like, you don't have to have all this right now.
No.
This is what we do.
Yeah.
Is help you find those places. And it sometimes it's like, hey, go do this specific resource to find this out.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just evolves over the weeks where you can see a red flag with a client. You're just like, hey, no, you didn't fuck up the whole week. Or it's like, oh, I've had a wedding, so I had drinks and I fucked my whole average. It's like, was the wedding important? Did you have fun? We care about it in 2 weeks. No, cool, move on. That's a big part of it.
What's up, guys? So before we move on, just wanted to make sure you guys know about our free resources on the website. So go to www.stcfit.com/resources and take advantage of our free body transformation guide, our SBD guide, and our body transformation quiz.
So the A is approach. So we're talking about programming.
Yeah.
Going from someone who isn't getting results, maybe is following something generic. I think one of the biggest impacts is the program.
Yeah.
Particularly if you already work hard.
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there that show up. Like, it's not the problem. The problem isn't showing up, and the problem's probably not working hard. Like, most people have those traits already, or one of them.
Yeah.
It's more, we have all of these outcomes that we want to achieve, whether it's strength, performance in a certain realm, muscle mass, decrease in body fat. Those things get facilitated slightly differently. And they also, even within there's nuance within each outcome that's specific to the individual as well.
Correct.
So it's like how you and I build muscle is going to be a little bit different, but how we build muscle overall, we're making the same decisions off these overarching principles. It's the same with strength. And then it's like, okay, well, how we get strong is like governed by these principles, but how Ben gets strong and how Jason gets strong in certain movements or, because they've got certain limitations is different. And that's when we go into approach, it's like that is the degree of micromanagement that we do in the approach is like, it's really specific to that person. It's like, that's just not something that you can get following your friend's program or your friend's diet or, downloading a program or downloading an app off the internet. It's like, most of these people want more. They're sick of that stuff.
Yeah.
So,
I think what always surprises me the most, and obviously there's probably an adherence component to this, and we'll get down to nutrition as well, but seeing people so frequently, we refer to it as recomp. If you haven't heard that term before, it means losing body fat, increasing muscle mass at the same time. There's a small window that's available to you.
Yeah.
Usually it's when you're a beginner, but it also is when the stimulus is novel or what you've been doing is like, I don't want to shit on it and say it's like it's so far off the mark, but it's like it hasn't been where it needs to be to facilitate the outcome.
Yep.
And now that's been really zoned in and highlighted and done specifically for you.
Yeah.
See it all the time.
Yeah.
And it's just like we often will do like, I call it like a habit formation phase. And it's like 3 to 4 weeks of let's get your nutrition on point, your training on point, your lifestyle factors on point, and let's just go through a setup phase of making sure everything's sweet. Because if you're sleeping 4 hours, it doesn't matter what I do to your diet. We need to fix that problem first.
Yeah.
So we get all those things right, and then typically we'll move into like the fat loss phase or the gaining phase or whatever it is. We'll stay there for performance. And you'll get to like, people will be like, oh, so when do we go into the fat loss phase? It's like, you lost 2 centimeters off your waist by accident. And you're getting stronger every week, and you look better, and your photos are better. Do you want to just keep doing this? Because essentially you're in it now.
Yeah.
And just ride that wave out for as long as you can milk it for. And it's amazing how often it happens when you, again, like you said, like people working hard. One of the things that we do within our programming as well is redefine what working hard means.
Yeah.
Because I think for a lot of people, particularly women, it's like doing too much at an intensity level that's not appropriate, an exercise selection that's not actually encouraging for the outcome that you're trying to do.
Yeah.
So then working hard becomes different.
Yeah.
It's not... Sometimes working hard is leaving the gym when you think you could do more.
Yeah.
Because that's hard.
Yeah. Effort is a currency.
Yeah.
And you use it when you need to, and you save it when you need to as well.
Yeah.
Like it's not a currency that you just want to every day, just trade the whole amount. It's like there's times when you need to pull back and kind of save a little bit.
Yeah. And if you think about what programming is, or what good programming should be, it shouldn't be a random allotment of exercises, sets and reps on a program.
Yeah.
It should be a strategic management of volume, intensity, recoverability.
Yeah. And exercise selection.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're managing those 4 things, so the exercise selection is to make sure that the training program is specific for the outcome.
Yeah.
And then we need to consider volume and intensity in terms of what does working hard mean?
Yeah.
Because working hard on a 5 is not the same as working hard on a 15, 20 rep, what do they call them? Burnout set or whatever the fuck it is.
Finisher?
At the end. Finisher. Gag. If you do finishes, it's okay. You just won't anymore because you'll have a more strategic approach than that. And then recoverability. So it's understanding like, well, how far do we push intensity? Why? How far do we push volume? Why? Generally speaking, the people I know, at least that come to me, favor volume over intensity.
Yeah.
So they're sweet within recoverability, or they're pushing it over the limit and not seeing any outcomes there. And then you pull back and go, we're going to focus a little bit more on intensity, getting your work within 2 reps of failure, 3 reps of failure, 0 reps of failure, depending on the exercise, and actually getting you executing to a sufficient level. And you don't have that finisher at the end of the workout. You're like, oh man, I'm so tired. And I had like this sensation of it was hard and I'm sweaty.
Yeah.
We actually take a more metric-based approach where it's like, did you do more than last week?
Yeah, it's performance-based.
Yes. Cool. Then you trained hard enough.
Yeah.
And we actually have strategies put in place too that'll find you out if you're sandbagging early on too.
Yeah.
Testing weeks and stuff like that.
Yep.
Awesome. So that covers programming.
Approach, yeah.
So approach. S is for sustenance. Now that was the hardest one, guys. We know you don't know what the fuck we mean when we said sustenance, but we had to get master to work. So we called it sustenance.
Yeah, nutrition was really hard. They said that was going to be called MANTA.
Yeah.
MANTA method.
Yeah, which is not quite it.
Nah. But hey, yeah. So in aspects of nutrition, obviously really complicated thing, lots of information out there on the internet. Most people have followed diets, experienced some success, then relapse, which means it's unsuccessful, or experience a degree of confusion on what to eat because everything is bad for you, or has some form of like negative connotation associated to it, or one thing's given a benefit better and considered better than others.
Yeah.
So what our job is to kind of dial that in and kind of take the confusion out and just be like, this is really what a day's worth of food should look like, to optimize health, performance, and the results that you have. And then in some instances, we're obviously trading those things off.
Yeah.
Just depending on what your goals are.
I agree.
But it's like giving you a really clear idea of like what to eat, food groups to look at, to really kind of focus and hone in on. Obviously still enjoy some of the foods that you like to eat, and then maybe some of those foods that you probably shouldn't eat too often, but still have them every now and then. Just create this situation where you feel comfortable going to the shops, buying food, creating meals for yourself that are aligning with your goals. And we want to just be in a position where we do that as long as possible, because that's going to get you the best outcome.
One of the things that we do the best is take large issues and make them smaller for people.
Yeah.
And I think nutrition's one of those ones that's just over fucking complicated all the time, so often.
Yeah.
By both trainers and by clients. Like their own sort of perception of what matters.
Yeah.
And I think that is probably our biggest strength, is like within 4 weeks you should be really comfortable to do whatever the plan is. Yeah, quite easily. I
think because the diet industry is so profitable.
Yeah, you need to sell something, right?
It's very easy to be like, don't eat this food, eat this one.
Yeah, if we should be sitting here going, we have the revolutionary method that
correct.
If you eat that raw onion exactly 7 minutes before you train, you'll be hyper-anabolic.
Way more people are going to want that than they are just like, hey, the healthy eating guidelines actually aren't that bad if you actually factor in that overactive people who train regularly and do resistance exercise need more protein.
Yeah.
So it's like if you actually look at it, it's like take the bare bones of the healthy eating guidelines, add more protein because you're more active.
Yep.
And you probably do more resistance training.
Yep.
Most of the time, that's going to be a really effective way to eat.
Yeah.
And then everybody knows the food they shouldn't eat too much of.
Yeah.
Like they know. It's just sometimes like there's people now in the industry trying to push that you can have those.
Yeah.
So you can drink alcohol and you can have chocolate and all that stuff. It's like, yeah, you can. But you shouldn't make decisions like that in absence of the foods that are more nutritious, that are going to nourish your body, make you perform better, and probably make you recover better.
It's funny, like the older I get, and I used to hear people talk about this when I was in my like early 20s and stuff. It's just like the older I get, the more that stuff matters. Yeah, it's just like if I eat shitty food, and there's no good and bad foods, got it. But some food makes you feel like shit.
Yeah, and that's going to be actually different from person to person as well.
So if there's certain foods that make you feel like shit, probably don't eat them very often. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. Like I even, after our Christmas party, I was like, I don't really know if I ever want to do that again. Like, just consume that much alcohol in a night. It's just like, because I was still rough Thursday. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know if this was...
I'm not going to say that because I say that too often.
No, but it's just like the thought crossed my mind. I'm sure I'll have amnesia.
I wouldn't do it every week.
At some point, but I was just like, I don't know if this is really a thing for me.
I definitely wouldn't do it at a frequency that would affect my training on a regular basis.
Agreed. No way. Yeah, or life.
No. Just not worth it.
A lot of the people we work with are obviously like successful outside of the gym.
Yeah, high-performing individuals.
Yeah. I've got a lot of mums these days as well, like new mums that are like, mate.
Being hungovers is not a thing.
And like sleep is such a vital resource. So eating food that also makes you feel like shit when you're fucking not getting sleep, it's like you actually have to think about how your brain works too, and how you feel outside of the gym. But I would say like most people come to us, like we said, they've worked with other people before or at least done enough. They understand macros and tracking, and they've done MyFitnessPal before and all that kind of shit. And that is the most common practice that we would follow. But I think the main difference from us is like you said earlier, people will come looking for a secret. And it's like the secret is...
There isn't one.
What can you do day in, day out the most consistently as possible? And then, coming back to what we're talking about at the start, is the decision making. Yeah. So if you're already losing half a centimeter a week, don't chase more. Yeah.
Stay in the pocket.
Enjoy it.
Until it doesn't work.
Exactly. If you're kind of full but not gaining any weight and your performance is going up and that's your goal, stay there. Yeah. Don't jump into the deficit. And I think having someone lay things out and go like, so I have two approaches. I either have a proactive approach that's reactionary post or just a straight reactionary method, depending on the individual that's coming to me. So I've got one girl at the moment, for example, who has been doing the Maxine's challenge for like 5 years. Yeah. 12 weeks on, balls to the wall, falls off the wagon, puts the weight back on. Repeat. So had the question last week, when are we dropping the calories? Like, this is the data. We will respond when it stops working. Yeah. Because what you've done in the past is go really aggressive and then you can't stay there. Yeah. So I want you to look better in 6 months, not just 3. Yeah. And then 12 months after that. So that's reactive method. Then for other people, particularly like with competitions, I've got a girl who's doing a powerlifting competition 2 weeks before her wedding and wants to be shredded for the wedding. Yeah. So it's a nice little challenge. For her, it's like
a lot of stress in 4 weeks.
Yes. Shh.
Sorry. Block your ears, whoever that was.
So it's like, okay, for her, it's like, cool. We have the capacity to go harder in the diet early. Yeah. So let's do that. Drive the fat loss really hard early because you know you're going to need the nutrition support coming towards the end of the prep.
100%.
Mental fog, all that kind of stuff that comes in with powerlifting's a real thing. If you've never experienced it, happens. So we can go, this time frame we're doing this. Yeah. This time frame we're doing this. You would be the same for a body composition outcome. It's like, this is probably it's going to look like over the next 20, 16, 12 weeks. Yeah. This is what we're planning out. And then review it week by week and then even have checkpoints at like, cool, at this stage, what's happening, and we'll make a decision here as to what to do next.
Yeah.
And I think that from even someone who's hired coaches, that's a big thing that I hire coaches for. It's just like, I need someone to plan that because I'll jump.
Yeah, we talked about the emotional decisions that you make when you do those things for yourself, like having a coach and having someone objective looking in.
Yeah,
will kind of rein it in. Be like, this is the best decision to make for you and your goals long term.
Yeah, for sure.
What's up, guys? So before we move on, just a little bit more information for those people who are curious about coaching. Maybe they want someone to take care of their training, get a bit more specific, take it to the next level, or even just keep them accountable to all of the things that they need to do. So again, you guys can go onto the website, get a little bit more information. It's got all the information on there on what's involved to take your training to the next level. You can hit the inquiry button, and then we'll get on a strategy call and see what we can do for you. Training. We want to make sure when we walk into the gym, we have a large degree of confidence and competence in what we're doing. Mm-hmm. So it's not your program, it's how you're actually performing the movements and your reps and stuff to ensure that your workouts are the most effective. Mm-hmm. Because you can, just bash a broomstick on the ground as much as possible, and then at some point it's going to start to wear down.
Yep.
And then, that's when injuries can happen and those kind of things, like, no different to, obviously your bodies and stuff. And then we want to make sure that, like, we're targeting certain areas that, if that's the desired look that we want. Yeah. And if we're trying to get stronger, that we're doing that in a manner that is, being as safe as possible. Yep. So you want to leave that gym and you never second guess, like, was that effective? And if you do, you have the support and the technical skills of somebody to go, just change this, or just do this, or position your body here, or let's do that.
Yeah, and I think this is the one that people are still learning is possible in an online environment.
Yep.
Like, I think it's still like, if I want to improve my technique, I have to see a face-to-face coach. It's like, I think we're at a point now, at least from what I've seen, consistently see clients improve in the way they execute movement, even in an online environment.
Yeah.
So how? Videos are obviously number one.
Yeah.
Like, willing to film your workouts and do that. If you're not willing, it makes it a little bit more challenging, but we can figure it out because we have obviously resources and stuff, videos, etc., that you can watch to make sure that you're getting the most out of every set that you do in the gym.
Yeah, even just a good program can, in some instances, reinforce better technique on certain exercises. So there's many ways to kind of reinforce your precision in the gym. Our goal is to make sure that we're moving towards mastery as much as we can. Because, time and effort are finite.
Agreed.
And we want to make sure that you're trading that time and effort the best way possible to get that best return you can.
Yeah, and this is exactly where I was going to go with it too. Just like the exercise selection and specificity around each exercise's application is really important.
Yeah.
You can lunge 400 different ways. You want bigger glutes? There's a way to lunge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like,
100%.
That's a part of it. And then also the execution is a part of it. The proximity to failure is a part of it, which is prescribed in the program. So it kind of overlaps. So there's those things. Just an example of that. So one of the girls I'm working with, again, powerlifter. I don't only work with powerlifters, but just
sounds like it
as an example. Or even if she's not right, she's not able to hit squat depth when we met. I didn't give her 700 cues to go out and remember and try the next time she trained.
Yeah.
I just put stuff in her program, Bulgarian split squats, and that she had to break hip. Hip had to break knee parallel every time. Front foot elevated, reverse lunges.
Yeah.
Same, had to be in a squat position at the bottom, work through that range. Bunch of other exercises that put her in the position that she didn't like to go in, made her comfortable there, made her stronger there, made her more stable there. All of a sudden, we were doing pause squats for 6 weeks. Again, get in the hole, sit there. Did her first set of squats yesterday. Fucking all 5. Bang, 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 bang. On depth every single time. Yeah. It's like there was no need for some fucking band mobility, whatever. It's just like...
Or just a million inputs to think about when you're actually taking the bar out.
Yeah, it's like, we can improve this over the next block, and we will see noticeable improvement by doing all of these other things.
Yeah, while still training at the same time too.
Yeah,
so
and like
working on something, but still working out.
Yeah, just so happens that her glute measurement's gone up 2 centimeters in that 6 weeks. Because all of those areas are what you need to train glutes.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think that's a big thing that people still are apprehensive about with online training, but it's really... we're at the point now where inside our app, you can actually upload the video of the set.
Yeah.
And we can watch it. Like, so if you're uncomfortable with anything...
Review post is pretty straightforward.
Yeah. Yep. Last one, definitely not least one, is recovery.
Yeah.
So it's master without an E.
Yeah.
Just in case you missed
that. Yeah, it's like living the lifestyle. I think is probably the best way to conceptualize recovery. It's like what you do in, like everything we've spoken about generally is about what we do inside the gym.
Yeah.
There's certain things that we want to do outside of the gym that are going to complement what we've done in the gym, and allow us to show up the next day and perform, look after our body, make better decisions, all of those kind of things. It's like, making sure that we sleep well, making sure that we look after our body in terms of its like connective tissue and stuff and movement.
Yeah.
And then
cardiovascular health.
Yeah, your cardiovascular health, and then obviously, doing our best to manage your energy and stress load as a whole.
Yeah.
Because it's like a bucket that it does fill up, but you obviously, pour it out.
Yeah.
And you pour it out not just in the gym, in everything that you do.
Yeah.
So there might be circumstances where we can do things to draw back on what we're pouring out so that we can fill it up enough, and that's going to be different from person to person,
Yeah, I know a lot of the clients I work with, like you said, you generally got kind of driven people already.
Yeah.
And then usually not just driven in the gym. It's usually other shit. And there's always life. Everyone has stuff.
Yeah.
So learning to be able to regulate that and be really good at that, I think, is really effective. And then if you have I can't remember where the stat came from, so you can fact check it if you like, but they moved the predictability for a healthy body composition range. Used to be nutrition, activity, sleep, and they moved sleep to number 2. So they can basically predict your likelihood of obesity based on how many hours sleep you get a night.
Yeah.
So it's actually more important than the training.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
I would agree.
So then I would say that, like, systemic stress, let's call it, whether it's job, relationships, being a mum, like whatever else.
And a dad.
Sorry.
Got you guys back.
Yeah, like those 4 things all need to be in line to be exceptional to get an exceptional outcome.
Yeah.
Most people come to us because they want something that's not normal.
Yeah.
Like they want to be in shape, they want to be really strong, they want to be whatever.
Yeah. And like it just adds another layer to that next step that people want to take. It's not just a step that you take inside the gym.
Yeah.
So it's not just like, I'm going to train like a beast. I'm going to get stronger and I'm going to eat this certain way. It's like there's these elements that we're talking about that all really kind of fall into the puzzle.
Yeah.
And each piece kind of complements itself.
Yeah.
And what we do outside of the gym is a catalyst to how we behave inside the gym as well.
Yeah.
Or how we just behave in general,
And I think that is a big part of what we were talking about earlier too, taking those large issues and making them smaller.
Yeah.
It's like you don't have to be thinking about training unless you love it. Like you don't have to be thinking about it 18 hours a day. No. You have to be thinking about the next meal every single time. Like you put these strategies in place, when you step foot in the gym, you do the work. When you open the fridge, you do the work. That there's things you need to put in place to facilitate your recovery, whether it's a sleep schedule, whether it's like some form of stress management strategy, whether it's like the recovery techniques and stuff that you mentioned. Like all of those things, they only need to be thought about once when you're doing them. Yeah. Because it's all set up and structured nicely. Yeah. We don't have to blow everything up to be a big deal. No. Which I think is a point of difference for us to a lot of other coaches that people may have worked with in the past. I read someone's response on and this is not to take a pot shot, but it's just to Because some people like it, and that's fine.
Yeah.
If you're that client, that's cool. But I read a response to a check-in that was like, your body's clearly making great use of the nutrients that you're providing it, and we can really see a direct correlation with this nutrient usage with your performance. And I was like, what? What did you just say? Like, that was a lot of words for not much.
Yeah.
To just say, hey, this is fucking working really well.
Yeah, nutrition's going good,
and
by
the
the sound of
metrics
it,
are killing
because
it.
performance in the gym is looking good.
Yeah. So it's like, I think that can kind of snowball into this. It actually creates more mental load, which is a stressor, and actually pulls back from the outcome you're trying to achieve.
At all times, like, the outcome for a coach is to simplify the plan for the client and make sure that they feel confidence and reassurance in what they're doing is exactly what they need to do. And if they are unsure on what to do, they have confidence and reassurance that they know what to do.
Yeah.
And I think that in a lot of cases comes in absence of the complicated terms and words that personal trainers know or coaches know. It's like, we just need to have a very clear understanding, like, hey, do you know what to do?
Yeah. Or
what you're doing is working. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Well done. You know,
you getting a result shows that I'm smart. I don't need to tell you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's I guess where I sit on
that. And the simple is always going to be way more effective.
Yeah. And there is obviously, we create opportunities within our coaching service to ask in-depth questions.
Yeah, of course.
Because some people want to know, some people don't. So I always say, like, in my consults, I will give you the minimum amount of information that you need to know to be able to execute this really, really well.
Yeah.
If you want to know anything else, there's a question in your check-in every single week that says, what questions do you have? You have the ability to find out.
Yep.
And we have 2 podcasts. I talk about training for at least 3 hours a week on Zoom, plus check-ins, plus. I like talking about this shit. I like nerding out on it.
Yeah.
I write resources for coaches on how to do it. I love it. So ask whatever question you want, but if you don't want to know and you don't need to know, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Just do the thing. Get the result.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I guess the next step is like, well, what happens? What can you expect? Results.
Yeah.
What actually comes from putting all these things in order? And I think like I said, the biggest point of difference that you would have working with us as opposed to anyone else is, like, you're able to show up regardless of what's going on in life.
Yeah.
Shadow's really upset with that. Apparently, if anyone heard that big sigh, that was the resident blue healer of the studio. So I think, like, setting up, that comes obviously from that mentality kind of zone, is being able to show up. Now, showing up doesn't look the same every week.
No.
It's being able to work with your coach and make a decision of, this is what showing up means right now. And being able to continuously do that. And like you said, they're the ones that are successful long term.
Yeah, just following these areas we've spoken about, though, that just increases the likelihood, though.
Yeah. Walking into the gym with total confidence of what to do.
Yeah.
And that it's going to work.
Yeah. And you just, like, there's so much value to that. I know what I'm going to train this day.
Yeah.
On that day, you're starting to prepare yourself to head to the gym. You know what your first movements are going to be. You know what your warm-up is. You know, like, all your reps and your sets and your intensities and stuff. Like, it's just so much value to that. And you know that it's all for you and your goals.
Yeah.
It's like, there's just so much power to having that.
Yeah. Rather than finishing an exercise, standing up and going,
what's next? I'll just stay on the cables and do another variation.
Yeah.
You know?
How many sets you got left, Jace? Eat to suit your current lifestyle and your goals. I think that's an important one. It's like, something we do is have conversations with clients of, where on the spectrum are you within your capacity to execute a nutrition plan?
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean a meal plan, because we do them very rarely.
Yeah.
But where are you just, like, eating enough protein? Are you tracking calories and protein? Are you measuring all macros? Are you considering nutrient timing, peri-workout? Like, where on that spectrum does it exist for you?
Yeah.
It's conducive within your lifestyle that you can do day in, day out. It's not, this works for me when the rest of life is perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a fluid method, so it changes as you change and as your needs and wants do. Yeah. It's like, we got the capacity to do that at all times.
Yeah. And then ultimately, like, you're either getting jacked, getting shredded, getting strong, performing better.
Or a combination of
or
all of them.
Hopefully all of them.
Yeah. And you have the ability to set goals, hit them, and set new ones. Like, you're not that person that's just continuously trying to get in shape.
Yeah.
Continuously trying to get stronger, or continuously trying to work on this one thing that you just do forever. And it's like you either obtain it and then fall off the wagon and lose it and then try and obtain it again. Like we want to be able to use approach everything in a way where everything's a leverage to something else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that a lot. Cool.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah. If this hasn't already been referred to you by a coach, just go to STCfit.com and you can go to work with us and see our online and our places where we have face-to-face clients as well.
Yeah.
Our face-to-face coaches, if you're looking for that. We may have someone in your area.
Yeah.
But yeah. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, hope that was valuable.
Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the share, tell the people.
Yeah, if you want a little bit more information, we do have a body transformation guide as well. So there's people that are interested in body composition and want to know a little bit more about the finer details.
Specifics of what we do.
Yeah, there's a good resource on the website. So just head to the resource section and you can kind of get in there and have a bit of a look at some of the moving parts.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for listening, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Ciao.
Bye.